Hello everyone, welcome to this Python full course part 8. And in this part 8 of our Python course, we are going to be learning all we need to know about the Python functions. To understand everything about Python functions, why we use the Python functions, and what is the purpose of this Python function, and how we create the Python function, and how we use it inside our what? Inside our programs that we are working on. So we are going to understand that the first thing is, what are functions? And we need to understand what function. A function is just a block of code which only runs when it is called. This one thing you should put in mind. When you call the function is going to run. You can pass data known as the parameters into a function. We are going to be seeing all this practically to understand how it works. And the function can return data as a result. And now we've learned to understand that this is what the function is not about. Now, how can we create a function? Because we need to know how to create a function, right? In Python, a function is defined using the def keyword. It's defined using the def keyword, meaning that if the interpreter encounter this def keyword, it knows that this is a function that is being created, so it knows how to handle it. And this keyword, it is a keyword. That is why you cannot name your variables using the def because it's a special keyword. For example, this is how we can be able to create a word, a function. For example, I say the def. Whenever we start to create a function, we have to encounter this def keyword. That's the first thing you need to write whenever you want to create a function. If I just say def, then the next thing that follows now should be the function name. For example, I just gave here my function. This is just a name of my function that I'm given. But one thing we need to understand, as I told you that, because I want to use, maybe because I say my function, the only key special character in programming that we use to separate words like this is underscore character. So that is why I say my function. And when you write a function, it ends with a double parenthesis like this. Double parenthesis and also end with a colon. That is how you create your function. It ends with a colon, and then you can now print. Now, this is just a simple function that we have created, but we have not called the function. So we are going to understand all about function, then we want to know how to create it. Now we are going to head over to do it practically. But before we do that, welcome to all my returning subscribers. If you have been rocking with us, thank you so much. I love you so much. And for those who always watch the video and like this video, when you like the video, you boost the algorithm of this channel. So thank you so much. I love you guys so much. And if you're stumbling on this channel for your first time, please, why not join the community? It's a happy community, where we have a free knowledge that we use to build great careers. Just click on the subscribe button to subscribe to this channel. And when you subscribe, click on that notification bell and just click on all so that you can be able to get notified whenever we upload new videos. And when you're watching the video, just click the like button. That's the thumbs up. And don't forget to share with your friends, your family members, those who are interested. You can share on all your social media platforms, to be able to promote this channel, because at least you're enjoying it, right? Just help to market it, to show others that there's something happening here, which is beautiful. So, and when you finish, keep a comment in the comment section. If you have subscribed, just keep a comment in the comment section to say, I just subscribed, you subscribe, or I've liked the video, I've shared the video, Thank you guys so much. And stay tuned, because this is a part 8 of it. Let's continue and see everything we need to know about the Python functions. So when you're watching this video, I'm going to tell you something which is very beautiful. Make sure to watch to the end, because to the end of this video, we are going to run a small program. That is a small project, small program that we are going to be seeing. It is how to create a bank account. When you've already learned everything about the Python functions to understand what it is all about, how can we create an ATM, a bank account, how we can deposit, you can create using both the deposit function and a withdrawal function, how we can be able to do that. So we learn how to assemble the various functions that we are going to learn and incorporate everything together, so that when we run it, we should be able to get an output that is going to ask us. For example, you say enter your deposit. I'm just depositing. Let's say I'm depositing this in $3 million. I'm depositing into my account, and it is asking me, do you want to do what? You say, enter the amount you want to withdraw. That's the program that I just showed. The amount you want to withdraw. Let's say I don't want to withdraw any amount. I just put a 0. When I press and enter, it tells me that it is going to print a slip for me. The print of slip is going to print is that it says the amount that is being deposited is 3 million, and then your withdrawal, you did not do any withdrawal, and then the net available balance that is left is 3 million. One situation where I don't just know what I want to do. I want to deposit and I want to also withdraw. So let's say I'm depositing 1 million. I'm depositing what, $1 million, $1 million, and it's asking me enter the amount. The ATM is asking me, the ATM machine, enter the amount because it's welcome to your ATM machine. Enter the amount you want to withdraw. I want to withdraw just 20K. You get it? It's just 20K that I'm withdrawing, and it's going to tell me you have the deposited amount into your account is 1 million, and your withdrawal is 20K, is to 20,000, and the net available balance is 90. Is what 980,000 that is left in the account. You get it? What situation where I go to my ATM, is telling me, hello, welcome to the ATM machine. Amount to deposit. Let's say I don't want to deposit any amount because I already have money in my account. But now it depends. You see, it's asking me, amount deposit is 00. Maybe you want to withdraw an amount in your account. Let's say I want to withdraw 100,000. I want to withdraw 100,000. So it's telling me that what? It says insufficient balance because there wasn't any deposit in your account. It's telling you that insufficient balance because your deposit is 00, your bank account is 00, it's just empty, there is nothing inside. So you have an insufficient fund, and the net available balance is 00, meaning that you need to deposit money into the account before you can be able to withdraw money into the account. And what of a situation where you make a deposit into the same into your account, you make a deposit of say 100,000, $100,000, and now you want to withdraw what, $200,000. Maybe you misunderstood. You thought maybe you had money into your account. So it's going to tell you also the same thing. Insufficient balance. Because we know we are not familiar with things like this. Insufficient balance. The amount in your account is insufficient. So your net balance is just 100,000. How then do you want to withdraw 200,000? So stay tuned to the end because after we understand everything about these functions today, we are going to run the small program for you to see how we incorporate the functions and it works. So let's head over and start working. So now, this is how, as I said, we define a function using the def keyword. The def keyword used, now we're going to learn everything we need to know about the Python functions. That is what we are going to learn for now, then before we continue. So this is the def keyword, and then you give this is the function name that you're given, and we said the function can take parameters, but now we are just going to we are learning how to create a function just empty like that. As we go forward, we are going to be seeing function that takes parameter and function that does not take parameters. So it depends on you how you want to work with it directly there. So, but we're going to learn and see how all of these functions. Okay. So sit tight, don't worry. And for those of you who are watching this, if you haven't liked this video, please make sure to like it. Like the video and then subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed. And keep a comment in the comment section to tell me about your experience, how you've been practicing. And if this is the first time stumbling on this channel and stumbling on this particular video, this is the part 8. Here we are dealing with the Python full course. You get it? This is part 8 of it, on which we are learning about the Python functions. So if you haven't watched the part 1 to part 7 of this, at the end of this, you can be able to just look inside the channel. You're going to get, or at the end of this, you're going to see end screen. It is what a playlist about the full course of this Python full course. So just click there. You're going to see all the videos, or you just go directly to the YouTube at Code Global, which is a YouTube channel. In there, you can be able to see all the various parts of this, the part 1, everything, for you to be able to follow, to be able to go through it, to reach to where we are, and let's work together. And if you have problem on your way practicing as me, please feel free to contact me. Just leave a comment in the comment section and I'm going to gladly help you. Okay. We are a family and let's rock it together. You guys are the code stars, the global stars in this channel. Whatever you want, I deliver. Thank you so much and let's continue. So this is the def function. We have my function. And I just pass a statement. I say the print statement. I say print hello world. Look at something. If I run this, remember I've just created this function. If I just run this piece of code that I've just created here, this is the function. I've just created this piece of code. You see, it doesn't give me any output. It doesn't give me any output because it is just a function I've created. I haven't called the function. If I want to be able to get the output of this, then I need to call the function. And how should we do that? Now, let me just collapse this output panel. To do that, now just take your mouse, put your mouse here, press enter 2 times, 1, 2. Then press backspace 1 again, 1 time. It goes there, where we have in the same alignment as this def. Now I'm going to call this function, which is my fun. So I'm calling this particular function, means that I want it to be able to give me the output. It should print this output for me, right? So I've just called this function. This is how I can be able to call my function. And remember, this is a function that does not take any argument. So if I run the same piece of code, you see, I'm now going to have the output hello from function. It's beautiful, right? Now let's continue. We are getting there. We are going to understand all about functions. And when you understand it, you're going to know how beautiful it is to write Python codes and to write Python functions, right? Let's continue. Now, somebody might ask me, what is the use of this of us using functions in our program? For example, if we want to be able to write a file that we are going to have so much code inside a particular file that all the time we are going to be using that file and using it to calling it to be using it there. It is going to be so long. The code is so huge inside. There is a more maintainable way in which you can be able to make that user friendly inside our program. Instead of making the piece of code, the program so huge, so large, when writing the code, you have to repeating the same thing over and over, writing it so large. We can break it into smaller chunks. That is called what? Functions. When we break it, that means that anytime I want to use that piece of code, the code inside that same piece of code somewhere in my program, I just need to call that particular function. And when I call it, what happens is going to automatically it's going to do everything that it was supposed to do rather than keep writing all the time for us to go. That is why function is so beautiful. So that is why we have to learn how to create our own personal functions, because when you remember, we saw different functions at the beginning. I talked about the print function. These are built-in functions. Because what we are doing now is creating our own function, learning to create our own function and customize it the way we want to work. We want it to work in our program. Because when you customize your own, you give it how you want it to run for you. It is going to give you the output as per what you want. So that is what we are doing, and we are going to understand more to understand how. So as I said, as we are starting with the function, we start with the def keyword, which is what is a short form for what? Define. As I said in the beginning, then you need to pass your function name. So you pass your function name. From there, you can now start working with a function. This is defined. And then one thing you need to understand is that all the things we use when we're working with variables, you need to understand all those things, that your function names, those are variables, right? It should be meaningful names. For example, let's say I'm giving here greet. I'm creating a function that is a greet function. You get it? You have to give a meaningful name to it. You have to give a meaningful name for something based on what you're working on, so you can be able to understand what it is all about. All these things must be in play. You get it? So you get it. So, and then now, what I want to do is that what I've added now a colon. When I've added this colon now, what is going to happen? Just press enter now. So what happened now is that what? From here, if you see now, the former statement is going to belong to this function. You get it? Meaning that any statement that is from here now, because we press enter, it enters here. Any statement I'm writing now belongs to this particular function. So for example, I say print. Okay, I'm using the print function. I say, what is it I want to do? Let's say, hello. Okay, let me just say, I'm just giving it as hello. Hello there. You get it? I'm just giving hello there. And all the statements that are going to, whatever the statements you are going to pass here, no matter the statements, they are all going to belong to what? They are going to belong to this particular word, to this particular function. You get it? This particular statement, all of them belong to this great function. The function we have just created here is a great function. You get it? Now, let's say here, I say, hello there. You are welcome. So now that you have written this, look at it. Now that we have written this particular function, this function is just an empty function we have created. For us to be able to call this particular function, just take your mouse out of this particular parenthesis that we are having here. Then just press enter twice, and then press backspace once for it to go back to that slide. And then from there, we can now be able to do what to call the function. And the function is what? A great function. And remember, when you're calling this function, the way you spell the function here should be the same thing you're spelling here. It shouldn't be different, because you're calling that same function. You should not give me a greet and come and write greets, and you expect those are two different things. It's going to be a different function. It's not going to be the same thing. So meaning that it's not going to give us as we want, because those are two different things we are having. Okay. So why are we doing this? In order to keep our code clean. You get it? And now if you forgot to give the two lines like this, don't worry. Once you save the code automatically, it is going to give the indentation like this. Okay. So you need to worry. So now let's run this piece of code and we see. When I run this, you see, hello there, you are welcome. You get it? That's how it is given. You are welcome, because I have just called this function. That is how we are able to create a function and we're able to call the function just empty function. So that is it, guys. The greet, as I said, the greet function. And one thing you need to understand is that what is the difference between the greet function that we define above? That is the greet one. It takes what it takes parameters. The greet, then the one below takes arguments. It takes the parameter. The one in the def greet, the one we define above, it takes parameters, and then the one down takes argument. So this is how we can be able to learn how to define a function and also how to call a function. This is just a function without any parameters. You get it? It's not having any argument, no parameters. It's just a simple function that we have learned how to create a function using the def keyword. Just modifying this, I'm going to add two parameters there. So I'm given the first parameter as the first name, and I'm given the second one as a last name. So I'm modifying it for us to have a function that takes parameters. You get it? So I'm given the first name and the last name, and also now I need to pass now that argument. I have to pass the names in the argument, the first and the last name inside the argument, isn't it? I want a situation where I should be able to do what? Now I'm able to do what? To be able to pass the parameters and the argument. So coming with that, since I've given the first name and the last name, coming inside the greet function, when I'm calling the greet function, I should be able to do what? Pass the first name. The first name is Nash. The last name is Ngangwa. Oh, I have to put it in a, these are what? These are strings. So you have to be in a double quote. That is why it is showing with error on the line. Because strings, we have to keep them in double quote. We know that very well, right? So that is the only reason why it's showing the red on the line. So it's not a problem. Let's fix it. So you see, immediately I'm just going to put it. You see, automatically it has shown that is the first name. Means the first parameter there is we are passing the first argument as Nesh. And then the second parameter, we are passing the argument as Ngangwa, which is the last name. So if we're able to print this, means you're going to be able to have what? Hello there, Nash Ngangwa. That is the way we are going to have it, right? But let's see, maybe we should try to modify this somehow, to make it more beautiful. So now I'm just going to modify this print statement. I'm just going to use the formatted string. In this formatted string, when I want to print, I want in a situation where it's supposed to print, and I'm going to pass there the first name, and I'm going to pass also what the last name is, a formatted string. And if you don't remember this, go back when we're learning about string. You go and watch. I think that's a part 4 or part how many of this Python full course you're going to find it. So the formatted string, I'm just saying hi, and I'm passing what the first name, and I'm also passing what the last name. That is what I'm given. Hi, first name is, so that she's able to tell me hi. We know the argument that we gave down here is what? For the parameters up there is Nash Ngangwa. So you should give me as hi, Nash Ngangwa, you're welcome. That is how it is supposed to give, isn't it? Yes, it is supposed to give us like that. That is how we are supposed to have the argument. So let's try to see how it goes. To watch you see, look at the output as I've run the program. We are having hi, Nash Ngangwa, you're welcome. That is what we want, right? So the print statement, that is how we've given the first print statement for us to be able to have the output like that. So this is how you can be able to do what with this. We pass two parameters, we call the function down, and we give two arguments. And then from there, we give a formatted string get. What are the situation? Now coming to a situation, what if there is a situation where I'm like saying that because these are what? These are arguments. And we have passed two parameters, means you have to give two arguments, isn't it? What if now I know I don't give the two arguments, I instead go and give but one argument? Do you think we are going to have the output? Do you think it's going to give us an output following just one? No. It's not going to give us like that because we gave two parameters out up there. So it means when we are calling the function with the arguments we have supplied, we have to have two arguments. We have to have two arguments that we have supplied for us to be able to have it without having error. Meaning that if in case of a situation where I choose to remove one of the arguments, let's say I remove one of the arguments, let's not just try to see with one of the arguments gone, how are we going to have it? Is it going to give us, because it's going to make us understand that it is not able. Before that even, let me just give another greet function. So I'm just going to give pass another parameters, another argument to a greet function. Let's say it's Daniel Maxel that I'm going to pass. So the first name is Daniel, the second name is Maxel. So Daniel Maxel. So the first and the last name. If I run this piece of this program, the program is going to give me the same thing. So it's going to say hi, Nesh Ngangwa, hi, Daniel Maxel, you're welcome. Can you see how beautiful it is? That is how it is going to give us. And that is what we want, isn't it? Then for a situation where, if in case I don't supply the two arguments, because we have two parameters, I need to give two arguments, isn't it? What if I don't give the two, I give just one argument? Like, for example, I give only the first name, I don't give the last name. How is it going to take? Is it going to give me the way it should give? Okay, let me just try to, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take out the second greeting, the second greet function I'm called. I'm going to take out the name, the Ngangwa. Let me take out that name, and I'm left with just the first name, which is Nash. Now, if we run this program, it's going to throw an error. That is what it's going to do. It is already signaling with that red line under there to tell us that it's going to give an error. That is how it is going to give, because one thing, why is it doing like that? If you look at it here, it says what? It said a greet function missing, is missing one. What is it missing? It is missing one of its arguments. One of the arguments required, missing one required positional arguments is missing, because we gave two parameters and now we are having only the first name, we're not having the last name. So it's going to throw an error. That is just what it has done. It threw an error showing that something is missing. Okay, so can you see? It is missing. So meaning that if you have supplied two parameters, you should be able to supply the two arguments so that there should not be any mismatch or anything, so that everything should come out smoothly. Okay, so if I give it back and then you see everything is going to come smoothly, we're not going to have the error again. So this is how you can be able to pass parameters and also arguments to call in your function as easy as ABC. Now this is the same function. I've just tried to modify it again a little bit. The dev greet name, you see, I'm just passing only one argument and I say print the formatted string name. So what is it that we want to do? Let's try to understand what I want to do. Now let's try to call this function. Now in calling this function, there is something I'm going to do here. Like in calling this function, like for example, if I give the greet function, for me to be able to call the function, obviously I just have to give the greet function and then put the name, which is Nash, or whatever the name you're given inside, isn't it? Give whatever the name you want to pass there. But now there's something also that I'm going to explain to you guys to understand better. Because as I said, when we are talking about function, there are two types of function. We have a function that performs a task, and a function that returns a value. It calculates and returns a value. These are the two types of functions that we are having. This example of what we have been seeing so far is a function that performs a task. And what we are having is just a function that performs a task. You get it? That is what we have been seeing, and that is what we are having, a function that performs a task. What if now we want to be able to return a value? Because we have to understand a function that returns a value also to go. There are two types of function, as I said. So we are going to also see the second type of function. Everything we've been doing so far is just about a function that returns, that performs a task. So for a function that returns a value, we are going to understand that to see, for us to be able to return a value. You get it? That's just what we are going to do, so that you can be able to understand. I'm just trying to do a lot of explanations because I want people to understand better. For example, that is what I just said, a function. Let me just write it down so it will be easy for you. A function that performs a task. This is the example, is the function, all the things we have been doing so far to now, the functions we have been doing so far to now, all of them are functions that performs a task. And then the function that calculates and returns a value. It calculates and returns a value. That value now means that what is going to, whatever you give to, it's going to calculate it and it's going to return a value. That is it. There are two types of function. So either is the one that is performing a task or is returning a value. I hope this is clear. Keep that in mind as we are going, because we are going to be using both of them in different scenarios to understand how it works. Okay, so that's good. I hope you guys are understanding now. And what I'm going to just try to do here is that I'm going to do what, just modify this. Now I'm going to return this. I want it to return this. I want this function to be a function that returns a value. So I'm going to say return. I'm just modifying this particular piece of code. So I'm just going to return a value. Now we are having the return the F formatted string high name. So meaning that I have to also call the function, right? So I'm calling the function, and look at what I want to do. So in calling this function, we know very well, I just need to give the greet function, and I'm going to pass the argument, put the name there. The argument, so let's say my argument is Nash. That is my name. I'm giving the argument there for us to go to work with it. Now, as it is like this, because it's a function that is returning a value. It's returning a value. So it's a little bit different from the other one. The other was performing a task, then we call it, but this one is returning a value. So if I give like this, automatically, it is not going to print. Now, if I want to print, I can now pass now what? I can pass now what? Pass this function. What I can do is that I can pass this function now to what? To a particular variable. Now, what I want is that I want the situation, because what I wanted to explain is that in a situation where maybe you want to send this message, or the thing you're having there in an email it's not going to be good if you are performing a task. If you're returning it, I can just use a variable that is what? A variable that is message. That message variable is going to hold that output. The output that is going to return, which is high-nesh, is going to hold it. You get me? So it's going to be holding the argument for us. And then also, what is it that I want to do in a situation that I'm going to also do a situation that is holding it. Now I can be able to write. I can also do to create a file directly. I can open a file for writing that is going to write this particular output, the message that we're having, the output that is going to return. I can create a file. I can open a file for writing mode in order to create that file for it to handle that particular return, the particular output that we are going to get there. And then I can be able to do what also, then I can still want to print also that particular message. You get it? So that is how I can be able to do that. I'm going to show you guys, don't worry. I'm explaining very well because I want you guys to understand everything and clearly to get it right. Okay. So now let's continue. So what am I going to do here? I'm just going to do what I want to, as I said, I want to be able to have a situation where, as that I'm having the greet function, the formatted string is going to give me the output of high-nesh. Now I want something to handle that particular, output. Meaning I don't just want to have that output alone. I'm just going to say print. What am I printing? I'm printing what? The message. I'm printing this particular message, and when I'm printing this message, what is it I want to do? Just look at it very well. I'm not even going to take it in this format. Let's see what I'm going to do here. No, I'm not printing that format. I'm going to do, I want to take the what? I want to go to open a file. I'm creating a file here. Once I'm going to give that file, in which I'm going to do what? I'm open a file, and in that file that I'm opening, I want to go to create a file. Let's say context.txt file is the one I want to create, and in that file is going to be open for what? For writing mode. You get it? Which is a W, which is a writing mode. So that is what I'm going to just do as I'm typing. Just watch. So I'm taking as a context.txt. That is the file I'm taking, and I'm opening this file for writing mode. So I'm just going to take that, and then I'm going to take W. W means it's the writing mode, isn't it? We know very well, right? Exactly. So I'm opening this file for writing mode, which is right. And also, what is it that I'm going to do? Remember, the W has to be what in the double quote, because that is how it's supposed to be, or else it's going to throw an error. So just watch, do exactly like the way I'm doing, and then you're going to get it. So why I want to write that particular output that is high-nesh into that particular file, isn't it? And also, what is it that I want to do again there? There are a lot of things we can be able to do here. So I'm just going to show you guys to see how you can be able to handle a lot of things here. So I'm taking the file. Now, what am I doing? I'm taking this file now. What is the purpose of me taking this file that I want to do here, work with it here? Now listen and listen very good. How we are going to work with it here. So file dot. So I'm going to take the file dot write method. So I'm taking the file dot write method. I want to write the message in that particular file. It's beautiful, right? Can you see how easy and simple it is? Can you see how easy and simple it is? Wow. So I want to write it. So that means that particular output is going to be handled somewhere. It's being handled. So that I'm writing the message. The message is holding what? That argument, isn't it? That is what that message is holding. So I'm writing the message inside that particular file. I've opened a file which is context.txt. It's wonderful, right? So guys, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell to get notified whenever you subscribe. And don't forget to keep a like in this video. Like the video, like this video, click the thumbs up to be able to like the video and subscribe to this channel, and keep a comment in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Let's continue. So now let's continue to understand more about our functions to see how we go about it. So now let's try to understand something here. You see? Now, coming back here, what is it that I've just done? This is the first part. The first type of which is performing a task. If you notice, whenever we print the name, we are having what? We have the none. What is this none here? This none here is saying that it is not returning anything. That is to make it to understand that by default, every Python file is returning something. If there's not, it's showing none means that it was not returning anything. So if I want it to return of something, I just need to do what? Return. If I type the return statement, let me say I pass something, I'm just passing these symbols. Then if I run this particular piece of code, you see it is returned. And once it return that output, it return whatever we gave. Now what happened? It is not going to show the none again. So whenever we are just having a function that performs just a task, it will give the none, means that what? There was nothing that it was returning. It was not returning anything. Okay. Hope this is understood. So for me to be able to show for us to be able to understand, so when you see the none, don't be scared, don't fret, because that is to make you to understand that by default the Python files the return something. Okay. Now, this is another function that we are having here. We are going to understand more about these Python functions. Now, with this function, it is a unique function. I want it to be able to, what is that I want it to do? There is a list of numbers here. This list is having many numbers and it's having duplicate. But now I want to print only the unique values. So I'm defining a function as the def unique list. I'm passing a parameter to it, which is n, and I'm declaring a variable x, which I'm keeping empty, and that's a list. That an empty list, and I say for a in n. What am I saying? If a is not in x, then x dot append. You have to append. It means that it's going to traverse in this particular list. It's going to come. The first value now is a, which of a is 3. It's going to append it inside that x list, and then it will check again. If it finds the next one is 6, it will check inside the x list. Is there is there any number that is 6 inside? If it's a no, it will append. It will traverse. Then even if it gets to where 3 is again inside this list, once 3 is already in the x list, in this n list, is not going to append it again, because 3 is already there. Because only the unique values. So it's going to traverse the entire list and be checking. So if the condition is met, okay, it appends. If the condition is not met, it does not append. So if it meets a duplicate, it does not append it again. If it meets it meets a new number, it appends it. I'm mindful of you. We do not give any condition for it to sort any number or sort anything here. So it is just going to search for the value. It's just going to do the search on automatically like that, and just appending irrespective of the position in which it is found. So it is not going to do what? It is not going to do that. So let's run this program. You see, it has uniquely created a unique list, X list, which is 3, 6, 7, 4, 9, 12, 15. And be mindful that it does not sort. It does not sort. It's just at the same position. It's just checking and traversing the entire list. That is just what this particular function is supposed to do. Hope this is clear and it is understood. This is how you can be able to use the Python function to be able to create a unique list from a list that is having duplicate numbers. Okay, so that is it, guys. You can see it is there is no more duplicate. We are now having a unique list that we are having from the duplicated list. This is how you should be able to write the piece of code. If you're working in your program, how you should be able to arrange it. This is how you're supposed to arrange it. Hope this is clear and everything. So we are going to move forward to understand more about the Python functions. So the next function we are going to be seeing is the absolute value. This is a Python function that we are able to, it's a small program. I want to find the absolute value of a number. So I'm just defining, I said the def absolute value is just the name of the function. I'm given a parameter that is num. I say if num is greater than or equals to 0, returns the num. Else returns minus num. Now look at what happened. I'm printing two statements. I say absolute value of 2 and absolute value of minus 4. Now it's going to come to check. Is 2 greater than or equals to equals to what? To 0? Yes, return 2. So the first value is 2. Let's run it and see. You see 2 and 4, and then it will come. Is minus 4 greater than or equals to what? And one thing we should understand is the absolute value of minus is positive, isn't it? Of minus 4 is positive, isn't it? So you see the else part did not come out. So this is how you can be able to use the Python function to go to look for the absolute value of a number. Now we are going to this is a Python function that we are going to be able to calculate the factorial of a number. We want to calculate factorial number. I'm just declaring the function. I said def fact I'm giving a parameter as n. I say if the n is equal to 1, return 1. Else return n into factorial of n minus 1. Then print factorial is the factor of 5. Means I want to calculate the factorial of 5. That is the last statement there. Now look at what happened. If we give now, we say what? If n is equals to 1, then what? If the first is equals to 1, it's going to keep 1, return 1. Else, it's going to return n into factor of n minus 1. Means that if the first value of n is 1, multiply by n minus 1. So if you start by, it's going to have 1. The first value will be 1, right? Then the second value, say n is 2. 2 times factorial of n of 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is what? 2. The second value is 2. And then the next one is what? 3. So we say 3 times 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 times that is going to go 6. So if you run this program, you're seeing the factorial of 5 is equals to 120. This is how the factorial goes. How to calculate factorial of a number using Python. And now we are calculating using what? The Python function. How beautiful and simple it is. Let's see now, I want to calculate the factorial. I'm going to change this. Let's say I want to calculate the factorial of, like, say 3. What is the factorial of 3? Factorial of 3 is 6, right? Let's run this piece of code and see. So you see that is factorial of 3 is 6 because the first time is 1, the second time is 2, and the third time is what? We're going to have it. If we go with it like that, we add it all, you're going to have 6, 3. So let's say again, I want to change. Let's say I want to calculate the factorial of, let's say 6. The factorial of 6, I think is 720, if I don't make a mistake. Yeah. So 720, you see, if you run a piece of code, the factorial of 6 is 720. So if you know how to calculate factorial manually, if you do it, you're going to have the same output as I'm doing. Those who are in mathematics or those who are doing programming or in computer science, you understand all these things. So the next Python program that we are going to be seeing is this, a small program which is able to the range of numbers from 5 to 12. So we want to calculate the range of numbers between 5 and 12. Now, what is this program? I said test. The argument and the parameter I'm giving there is n. I'm saying that if this number in the range of 5, the number I'm going to supply, in the range of what? 5 to 12, then you say print number is in range. Otherwise, else part, if that number does not fall within the range of 5 and 12, then you have to print the number is out of range. You get it? This is how you're making like a puzzle, like a game. Like somebody is entering a particular number, and if it is out of it, and I'm saying that then I'm calling the function, I'm passing the argument as 6. Now let's try to see if 6 is within the range. Yes, number is in range. So therefore means 6 is fine. It's good to go. Let's change this parameter now and say, let's give it as let's say 3. Is 3 in range? You say number is out of range because we set the range as 5 to 12. 3 is below 5. It's not up to 5. So it should be out of range. Now let's say a situation where it's above 12 also, to see if it is going to give us the right thing. You have to test every possible test that you can do so that to prove that your code is excellent, it's working well. So this piece of program, I'm giving 16. So when I run this piece of code, I run the program, it says number is out of range because our range is from 5 to 12. 16 is beyond 12, so it is out. The else part is printing. And the else part is printing to tell us that it is out of range. Hope this is understood and it is clear. That is how it works. Is it clear? This is how we are able to do this. Now, the next thing we are seeing here, the next function is a function to calculate, is a Python program to calculate, to know whether a number is even. To calculate even number, to be able to select an even number from a list of numbers. Now, for us to be able to do that, this is a small Python program. We are going to create a function even, and we are passing a parameter I. So I say number, the new list that we are going to have, that is going to be holding the even number, I'm declaring it number equals to an empty list. That is where it's going to traverse and take it. I say for n in I, I'm saying that what? If n, I'm given a condition now. I say if n now modulo of 2 is equals to 0. No, modulo means the remainder, isn't it? Means if I divide the value, if I take any of the numbers in the n, which is 3, 6, 7, 3, 9, 12, 15, 9, if I divide it by 2 and if it gives me a remainder of 0, then that is an even number, isn't it? Of course, we know that it's an even number because if you want to know any even number, when you divide the number by 2, you should have a remainder of 0. If your remainder is 0, means that number is an even number. That is how it is, right? Which is beautiful and excellent like that. So when we do that, what is going to happen means that we run this particular program, we should be able to what? pick out all instead of particular list, we should be able to pick it. Means that once it divides it, and if the number is equals to 0, it will append it now to that number list. That is how it is going to work. Then let's run the program and see. You see, it is 6 and 12. If you look in here, you realize that 6 and 12 are the only even numbers we are having inside this particular list, which is excellent, isn't it? Means everything is working well and everything is going correctly. So because it's going to follow the procedure, it's going to follow line by line to execute the code. Because we say Python, remember you execute the code line by line. We know very well the Python interpreter execute the code line by line. So let's see. Now we have another program here, a small Python program here. This is a program to calculate the addition and subtraction in a single return statement. Meaning we are not just calculating the addition and subtraction, but we are calculating in a single return statement. So what is the first thing we do? And we are using a Python function to run this particular program. So the first thing I define is the def, which is a definition keyword. The def, the define, and then I give what am I giving here? I'm given what? I'm given the name of my function as calculation. Calculation, I'm passing two. Remember, I want to calculate addition and subtraction. So we need two parameters. So I'm passing two parameters, and then I'm returning what? In a single line, I'm returning x plus y and x minus y. That is why we said addition and subtraction in a single return statement. So I'm not having the two variables. I'm having four different variables. One is a, and this a, because these are integer values, it can be float. If one is float value, you have to pass the float function there, right? So I'm just passing the int function, and this int function is holding the input function. I say enter the first number. So I'm asking the users. I say enter the first number, and then B. I say enter the second number, and then now the C variable. I'm having C, and this C variable is doing what? The C variable is holding what? Is holding what? Is holding the addition of A plus B. And then we have the D variable. The D variable is holding the subtraction or the difference of A and B. So A minus B and A plus B. That is what we are having. Mindful of you, try to understand what I'm explaining. I'm trying to be slow to reach people to understand better, to know what I'm explaining. So I've just asked the users to give me what? These users are going to give me what? They are giving me two numbers, and these numbers, and I'm going to perform the calculations, and I've all these things in variables. Now I'm given now a print statement, and the print statement, I'm saying that I'm declaring that the sum of A and B is C. Means that the two numbers I'm going to give, if I give, for example, if I say A is 10, B is 20, so it's going to tell me the sum of 10 and 20 is 30. The difference of 10 and 20 is minus 10. That is how it's going to give me, right? Exactly. Because D is holding the difference and C is holding the addition. So we are going to run this program and see. Enter the first number. Let's enter the first number. So I'm just going to give the first number as what? 10. Enter. Enter the second number. So give the second number as 7. Now it's telling us the sum of 10 and 7 is 17. And the difference of 10 and 7 is 3. Excellent, right? Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Python is so beautiful and so excellent. Python programming is so sweet. That is it, guys. So you can see how beautiful it is for us to be able to run this program to calculate addition and subtraction of a single number. Now look at something here. This is another thing that almost looks like what we did, but it's a little bit different. This is addition and subtraction of two numbers. Now this one, now we are no more using a return statement on a single line. It's the addition and subtraction of two numbers. I'm defining the def keyword. I'm given the calculate is my calculate is for, because I want to do calculation, is my function name. I'm given two parameters, which is P and Q, and I'm given arrow. I'm taking the variable arrow. I say arrow is holding the addition of P and Q. S is holding the subtraction of P and Q, the difference. And I'm returning what? I'm returning the output as RS, means that it's going to give me the output in that format. Means that if the sum is 30, the difference is 10, it's going to give me 30, 10. Are you getting what I'm trying to say when we run this thing? Don't worry. Just sit tight and understand what I'm explaining. So now, what is it I'm doing? I'm taking a variable that is x, and in this x variable, what is it I'm defining? I'm saying that I'm given, I say it's an integer value. I'm taking the int function. It can be float, whatever you want. You just define it there. Because I told you guys in string how to do all these things. The data types. I've taught you data types and how to go. So I say enter is holding the input function for the users to enter the value. I'm not passing the value. I ask the users to enter the values. So enter the first number, enter the second number, and return calculate of X and Y. It should return now what? Whatever the calculation that is going to take place there, it should return it to me. That is what it is going to do. So it's going to return the calculation of whatever it is taking place there. So if we look at it now, if we look at it, what we are having there, the first thing we are having there is what? And then we have a statement that is print the addition and subtraction of the two numbers. We have what the two numbers is going to give us what. So whatever the numbers, whatever the value or whatever thing that you're going to give there is going to determine whatever you want to do. So now we are just going to see, to run the piece of code to see how everything is going to work. Okay. And see how everything goes. Let's try to run the piece of code and see how we're going to get the output. Okay. Because as I said, it's going to be different from the other one. Let's run it. So enter the first number. Let's enter the first number. The first number I'm given is 20. And then the second number we're entering, I'm given as 10. No, let me say 15. So it's the addition of two numbers. You see, there's 35. And then 20 minus that is 5. So we're having the difference. It's beautiful, right? Excellent. It's just a small program to see that. So the next we are going to be seeing. Now, remember, we have come to the end of what of the class. And with the end of this program, I'm going to add this is a little bit long program that I told you that I'm going to show you from the beginning. When we started, I told you I'm going to run this program. You should be able to watch this class, go through this class from the beginning to the end, because I'm going to show you how we are going to assemble now multiple functions in a single block of class. And don't worry about the class here, because I'm in the next part 9 of it. I'm going to be teaching you about the class and object, the object oriented in Python. So you're going to understand about classes and about objects. So for now, you just have to understand what I'm explaining here. The program is Python program to create a bank account class with both a deposit function and a withdrawal function. So you see, these are many functions that we are grouping together in one class to be able to, and using an object to be able to call these functions. You get it? After that, we are going to create an object to be able to use the object to call the functions, and then we then see the output. So I'm creating, I say class bank account. It's a bank account because your bank account, you're going to work with at the ATM machine. You are either going to deposit money in your account through the ATM, or you want to withdraw money through the ATM, or you want to check your balance through the ATM, isn't it? Exactly. So I define the function. I said def, I'm initializing the function dot self, because self, you're not doing everything yourself. I said self dot balance, I'm given the initial value of your balance to be 0. Means your bank account, the initial value of it is 0. Then I said print, hello, welcome to ATM. Means that when you go to the ATM machine, the first thing it's going to tell you is, hello, welcome to ATM machine. That is the first thing it's going to tell you. Then coming now, we have the first def, we have the another def function. This def function is a deposit function. I said deposit self. Now I said, you see, this is the function. I have the deposit function. I have the withdraw function. I have the display function also. This is a display function. And then I'm going to creating an object of it. And that object I'm going to create, that object I'm going to use it to call all those functions. So don't worry too much to understand about the objects and the classes now, because in the next part 9, I'm going to explain detailedly for you to understand about objects and classes in Python. Object, these are object oriented in oriented language in Python. Okay. So now I'm going to go now. You see, deposit. I say, well, the amount. I'm taking a variable that is the amount variable, and this amount variable that we are having, you get it? The amount variable that we are having, I said, now this amount I'm passing. What is it I want to do? Is the amount I'm giving a float, because money is in float, isn't it? We have the cents when you're dealing with money. So it's not like an integer thing that you're having. No, money deals with floats, with cents. So I'm passing an input function that I say enter the amount to deposit. So I'm asking the user from the ATM. The ATM machine is asking you, enter the amount you have choose that you want to deposit. The first thing you have chosen is I want to deposit money. It's asking you, enter the amount that you want to deposit. So the amount now is say, well, save the balance, and it's going to go now. Means that what? It is going to take your balance. If you had an amount in that, the balance you had in that is going to increment that balance with the amount that you are depositing. Let's say your amount is zero, so it's going to be zero plus the 100,000 K dollars that you're depositing, so your balance is going to be 100K. Let's say you had your balance before was 100K and you're adding 50K to it. What happened? It is going to now increment it to 150K. So it's the amount deposited. Print amount deposited is the amount. Is going to tell us now the amount you deposited was 50K or 100K, depending on whatever the amount that you have deposited. How many thousand or $1 billion or $100,000 is going to tell this is the amount that you have added and is going to give it. Okay. So that is how it's going to go. Now the next thing is the withdraw. I'm creating another function which is a withdraw function. I say withdraw. The parameter I say is the self. Means like you're the one doing it. I say amount is float. Also enter the amount you want to withdraw. I say if the if it say if what I'm giving a condition that if the self dot balance is greater or equals to amount, then self dot balance we can minus the amount from it. Can you see we are decrementing the amount from the balance that you had? Then you say print is going to print now the amount that you have withdrawn. You get it? So withdraw the amount from the balance that we are having is going to tell us this is the amount that you have withdrawn from that amount. Otherwise, else, this is a false part. If in case the amount you want to withdraw is more than the amount that is in your bank account, what is it going to tell you? It's going to tell you insufficient balance. The else part is going to print. It's going to tell you insufficient balance. That's what the ATM is going to tell you. So therefore means that you're not able to withdraw the amount of money. Therefore means you have to cut down and to go to withdraw what is available, because automatically I've also given the display function that you should be able to display the net amount available balance that is in your account. Because sometimes you want to withdraw, you don't know the amount that is inside your account. So that is why the net balance is going to tell you the net available balance in your account, so that you should be able to know that this is the amount I'm having in my account. So if I'm withdrawing something, then whatever I'm withdrawing should be within this range, isn't it? Exactly. For those of you who have an account, you go to you are fond of using the ATM like I love to do, love to use the ATM for a lot of things, for nearly everything. Then you understand how this functions, isn't it? Exactly. So then I'm having the self dot balance, means it's going to tell me that's the balance that I'm going to have. The self dot balance, I'm just going to let me fix it. So self dot balance, that is going to print to tell me that your net available balance, the net available balance is the amount that is inside your account. That is going to give you either the amount when after the withdrawal or the deposit is going to give you. Then the next thing is that we are creating an object. So I've created an object S, as the S equals to bank account. Remember, it has to follow the name of the bank account function, follows the same name as your class name. And then I'm going to be calling the functions using what? Calling these functions using the object. The object I created is S. So using the object, I'm going to call this function. So I say S.deposit means I'm calling the deposit function. S.withdraw, I'm calling the withdraw function. S.display, I'm calling the display function. That is just what I am doing, using the object to be able to call the word of functions. As I said, don't worry too much about the object. I'm going to go detailedly to tell you what an object is in the next class, and what is a class. And we're going to see more programs and more beautiful programs that you're going to see, and how more projects and things to see how you can be able to create them using these things. So now I just want you to understand at the end how we have been working with the functions, how beautiful it is. You can create multiple functions in a class. How you cannot just have only one function at a time. You can create multiple functions, but inside a class. So let's run it and see. Now the first thing it says what? Hello, welcome to the ATM machine. The ATM is the one talking to you now. Enter the amount to be deposited. So if you want to deposit the amount, let's say I want to deposit what? 1 million in that account. When I put here, tick enter, it says amount deposited is 1 million. Then it's asking me to enter the amount I want to withdraw. Let's say maybe I don't want to withdraw any amount. I'm just going to press 0. Then it's going to take enter. So this is a receipt is going to print for me. It's going to tell me that you have deposited 1 million and there was no withdrawal, and your net available balance is 1 million. So it has finished. Everything is proceed and exit code is empty. So that is it. Now let's see a situation where I'm rerunning this code again. A situation where I'm given enter the amount. I'm giving 1 million. I want to withdraw. Now I've entered the amount, I've deposited an amount, I'm withdrawing what? 200K, 200,000. So you see, it's telling me It's telling me here that it's giving me the slip. That's the result. Is giving me the output. Is giving me that you have deposited 1 million and you withdrew 200,000, and your net available balance is 800k. It's 800,000, which is proceed to finish code. That is excellent, right? Let's run it again and take another option. Now in this option, let's say I'm not going to deposit anything. That I'm not depositing anything, and it's asking me to withdraw. And I know very well that my balance is 0. And I want to withdraw when my balance is 0. What is it going to tell me? Obviously, it's telling me that I have insufficient fund. This is the else part that is coming. It says insufficient balance. Net available balance is 0. So it's 0, 0 means that there's nothing in your account. You need to put money in the account to be able to withdraw money from the account. Let's take another scenario where I am having what? Let's say I'm having 100,000, and now I want to withdraw 200,000. You see, the amount in my account is just, or let me say, I want to withdraw 150,000. I'm having 100,000. I want to withdraw that. So it's telling me insufficient fund also, because the amount you're having in your account is small. It is not much. You see, this is how you can be able to create a project like this. If you want to have many functions in the same class, many functions to work with, you have to create it in a class. So this is it, guys. You can see this is it. As I told you guys, this is a bonus, and I told you how I'm going to show you to understand how this thing works with the functions. Now we're having multiple functions in a single class, and for this program, it's an ATM program that we are able to work with it to see how the balance and everything works. So guys, as I told you from the beginning, if you look at this video is ending now, this is the end of the class. Please remember, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload new video. If you have not liked this video, what are you waiting for? Please like the video by clicking the thumbs up, and then share with others and comment in the comment section about your experience. Also, look on the screen. You're going to see on the screen, you see a video there. That is a playlist, the playlist of this entire Python full course. This playlist is there. Click on that playlist. It's going to open for you to see the part 1 to this part 8 of it, so that you can be able to follow with us and practice with us to build a career for yourself, that when you finish, you become a Python developer, and also you're going to have a good job. And also, when you finish with this, we have projects that we are going to run, and we have many other things that we are going to do as a software developer. We have many things, applications to build. So let's stick together, guys, and subscribe to this channel, and let's support each other. Let's build the algorithm. Always watch this video, always watch to the end, and then subscribe to the channel, like the videos whenever you're watching. Immediately you click this video, always like the video. It's going to help us to build the algorithm of this channel. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Bye bye.